The final countdown. It's here. I don't even say the same thing. There's no intro anymore. It feels kind of different. I've gone through so many different things. I started this on recording on YouTube. Just I guess it's still on YouTube, but I recorded at first just throwing my phone. Actually, no, I take that back. I had a couple of microphones at first, and then fuck it. I'll change my mind. I got distracted. Here's my guest. We have Amanda and Amanda's cat. What's Amanda's cat's name?
Cat with a K.
With a K. Okay. Is there any other letter in there? Just K-A-T?
K-A-T. Yep.
Okay. How did K-A-T come about? Where did K-A-T come from?
Cat has an older sister named Kitty. So
okay, with a C?
No, just
with a
basic
K.
Kitty with a K.
Kitty with a K.
Kitty, my ex got her for me as a Christmas gift, and we couldn't decide on a name together, so we were calling her Kitty, and she started responding after a couple of days, and I'm like, all right, well, she's not going to be Lola, she's going to be Kitty. And
yeah.
Cute and adorable, but we got another cat, and I named him Mr. Meowgie, and I realized that you couldn't have a super basic name and a super awesome name, like children together, because the first one's always forgotten about. And so that's why Cat is Cat.
Okay. All right. Do you have siblings?
I have a younger sister.
You have a younger sister? Was she almost named something Mr. Meowgie type of name? No, okay. Your parents had the same thought process as you?
No, I was named after a TV show character. My mom heard Amanda on some kind of 80s soap opera and was like, wow, that's going to be my little munchkin's name, as she was vacuuming. And that's how I came about. And I don't remember my sisters. I feel like my mom had a friend whose name was Liz, the Elizabeth, and my sister's name is Lisa. So totally different.
Okay, that's a good way to do it. And so now we get to name our cats. So do you have two cats right now?
Yes.
Okay. So all right. Which one is which? Which one is the one that is the? I figure there's got to be one that's sort of the one that is the more guarding the house and one that's more guarding you? Or is it a kind of a mixture of both, or how's that work?
So this one right here is the youngest cat, and she is scared of the sound of her own tail. So she's not guarding anything except for herself.
Okay. And
Kitty, on the other hand, she will watch out, and she's my personal guardian. She's the first time I ever, I guess, fell in love.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know, we imprinted on each other. She's been, my ride or die for the last 11 years, and I freaking love her. So I feel like she'll have my back more than anyone, and she'll even protect her little sister, too. So that's cool.
I like that. I heard recently that that dogs... my voice is cracking. That dogs protect the physical space and cats protect the energetical space. And so, I don't know. Do you think do you feel that, or?
100%. I feel like all animals are wonderful, right? There's a special place in my heart for dogs, but there's something so unique and special about cats. I feel like when they're just sitting there staring at something, I want to know what they're looking at. I really feel like it's something in another world, another dimension, another timeline, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they're half here and half somewhere else that is not physical. And I'm like, they're up to something. They know more than we do for sure.
Yeah, have you seen videos of them when they when you play like Egyptian music or Indian music? I think is what it is. The other one, and they just sort of like I don't know if it's just putting it in the video if they're actually doing this, but you just see them and they get into this wide-eyed sort of trance kind of thing going on. But I don't know. Cats are fucking wild. They're and you can't just like you got to work for a cat. Like cats aren't always especially if you have a cat that's scared of its own tail, as you said. Like if I guess if someone's probably coming over to your house, it probably more okay with it. But like seeing other people, like cat's gonna probably do what you're doing and be more into that. But yeah, you got a cat, like and then I've seen the thing too, like if you have a cat that's getting on your laptop, you go and you get them their own laptop because they want to be doing like whatever you're doing. And like you get like a little tiny laptop and they'll just sit there the same thing with you. Cats are a trip. I wasn't always into cats, and I had a friend from Egypt and he got me all into cats, and then I like it all clicked and I got it. And then now it's because like here there's most of the cats and dogs are kind of just like everyone's, I guess, and they're just sort of everywhere. But I don't know, I also haven't figured out how you say dog or cat here yet, so I don't know. So I'm saying dog or cat, but I don't know how to get them. There's a few of them that like me, but I don't know, some of them don't always come up to me, and it feels weird because I feel like I heard also when a cat comes up to you, there's some reason for it. Like I didn't see a cat for a while when I was living in Maryland. Like I didn't see one for a while until there was a tornado nearby, and then there was like 3 cats that were outside, and they were all just sort of like darting around all strange, and I couldn't figure it out. And then then they all ran into one house, and I was like, okay, I didn't know there's a tornado coming, but I figured that those cats were there to see something. It's pretty cool. So cats. And then, but yeah, and then, I mean, dogs are cool as shit too. We can go with the dogs. So dogs, I guess we're here, ended up talking about dogs. So dogs, recently, the Wisconsin, is this anything we can talk about, or do I just say Wisconsin and then we pass by? Okay, so was that like a month ago or so, month and a half ago?
The first one was March 15th, and the second was April 18th.
Beware the Ides of March. Was that Julius Caesar? Or one of those Shakespearean plays. So the first one was March 15th. So how did you hear about it? Did word come through? Did you see a TikTok? Did someone send you a carrier pigeon, or what happened? How did you find out about it?
I mean, I really wish it was carrier pigeon. That would be
Me too.
Cool.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah. So when I first started living vegan, Wayne Shung was one of the first people on my Instagram feed, and he is a lawyer. and he went to this place called Ridglan Farms, which is a puppy breeder in Wisconsin, and it's also a vivisection lab too. And he showed videos and told stories that I could not believe. And when I saw that at that time, there was like nothing to do. He was going to trial. It was more like we're raising awareness. And long story long, the trial wound up getting dropped. There was a plea bargain with Ridgeland Farms to avoid criminal felony animal cruelty charges. So they're going to be shutting down their ability to sell puppies to places like universities, which is good, but they can still breed them and experiment on them there. So that's the part that we're trying to essentially stop and give all these dogs a home. But yeah, he was saying all of this on his Instagram, and then he was calling for people like, hey, if you feel called to help us out, we're gathering a team for like the first and the largest open rescue that the world's ever seen. And I'm like, boom, sign me up. So
Yeah.
that's how I heard about it.
Okay, so where is that in Wisconsin? Or like, is that like sort of close to where you are, ish?
It's about
Or is
3-ish hours away, maybe 2, depending on a good day.
okay,
But it's in Dane County, Wisconsin, about 45 minutes southwest of Madison.
okay, and all right. So like when he starts rallying the troops, is there like some sort of? Did you know everyone that was going to be there that was going up, or was it just like, here's the spot, everyone show up and be prepared enough to do whatever? Or is there like, you should have this, this, and this when you show up because stuff might get wild-ish? I don't know if that's the correct word, but, things could get a bit hairy. So, I mean, was that, or, I mean, is that, I don't want to say too much. I'm trying to not say too much, but I'm curious about it. So you don't know anybody, you don't know how many people are going to be showing up. It's just, you show up in your car and, you're fucking ready. Did you have, yeah, like signs or and whatnot, or loudspeaker, or you project your voice, or what was your way to, or just there to be a presence?
So March 15 and April 18 were 2 totally different experiences. So I'll talk about March 15 first, because that one was kind of like stealth-like. Most of our training was in nonviolence. So if you're confronted by security or police, you're to remain calm and be peaceful to them, even if they're not being peaceful to you, which is like quite a thing to do, especially
Sure.
since I'm a little feisty and I saw some horrendous things and I'm like, I can't even do anything to really stop or help. I'm very grateful for that training. But everybody
Oh,
got that training on more than one occasion. We learned a lot about empathy, but essentially there was a group of us, probably about 500 or so, and we were broken up into different teams depending on what level of risk you wanted to take. So it was either red, yellow, or green. Green team stayed on public property. It was kind of like the face of the movement. If there was going to be press, they would talk to them and things like that. Lowest level risk. Yellow team was medium level risk, usually misdemeanor status, and they were the people that would go on to essentially private property, which would be Ridglan Farms, to help the red team, which the highest level risk, felony level risk, actually rescue the dogs and make sure that they weren't intercepted. So that is the overall structure of it. And then since I was on red team, we were separated into smaller sub teams. So
okay.
I only knew one other person on my team. I think I signed up first, and maybe they signed up at the same time. We were on different teams, but we're like, yeah, no, we got to go together. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anybody else on my team. I wound up being on the same team with the Baywatch actress Alexandra Paul, who is one of the most amazing human beings on the face of the planet. She has a heart of gold. She is one of the best leaders ever, and she's just such a badass. Oh my God,
Yeah.
talk about inspiration.
Uh, did you know she was gonna be there? Or
So there were some Zoom meetings leading up to try to recruit people, tell the backstory of why we're doing what we're doing,
yeah.
how we have the right to rescue, and she was on one of them, and I couldn't believe it. And then I found out that we were going to be on the same team, and I just so happened to
Oh,
be on a team with like a lot of great people, and I'm like looking around. I'm just me from like this little suburb. These people are
yeah.
like main people. How did I get here? This is really cool.
I mean, that's one hell of a bonding experience. I mean, that's and that's all going in for a great cause. That's all going in to do something for the betterment of the world, which is cool as fuck. Like, I'm happy that you did that, like that, and that you're still part of it. And so okay, so you're on red team and red team go, and you get in there. So like, is this at night or is this I don't know. I don't know like the full story. I know a teeny bit of what's going on. So if I'm asking questions that are too much, just say, hey, hold up here. But so was this like at night? Did you guys, were you wearing like uh, clothes to, sort of be uh, less seen? Or was this like you're just going in there? Were you like? Did you know where stuff was? Did you have like a layout of the place that you can go in, or you just get in there and you're like, okay, I need to, check the mall directory to find out where we need to go, and find the dogs, find out where they're kept.
So this is the part where it's still an open investigation, so I'm going to
Okay,
say what I'm able to.
all right, that's
However, my team was able to just walk right in. And because we saw Google Maps and we had labeled buildings, we
ooh,
knew where to go. I, however, was not expecting the hills to be so steep and so muddy,
yeah,
because it was raining. Long story
oh,
long, we had a nonviolence conference on Friday evening, and the action was supposed to be planned for Sunday. We were told on Saturday that we were going to be doing a simulation outside. So be prepared to be outside for hours in whatever kind of weather it is, and we're going to go over all of the possible things that could go wrong so that we're prepared. Well,
whoa,
we wound up meeting in a parking lot, and then, like, I had a feeling that it was going to be different than it was. So when we're in this parking lot, Alexandra, who was our team lead, is like, hey, everybody, guess what? This is not a simulation. This is not a real thing. Please put on your bio gear and be prepared because we're going into Ridglan Farms, and we're going to be there in about 20 to 30 minutes, and we're going to go rescue some dogs. So there was no
so
time to freak out.
this is one of those things where someone invites you to a party, and then they show up and they're like, hey, by the way, this is a wedding. Actually, we're getting married, and here you go. And so you get thrown, because then there's not really the chance to overthink, which is probably great for that kind of situation, and as opposed to having like, okay, well, now it's going to be 4 days away, and then you're sitting there watching the clock trying to think about everything. But so you just go, and so everyone is going, and so you're in a team of how many people were in the red team?
I believe there was about 50 of us red team all together and about
Oh
9 on
shit.
my team.
Okay. And so you each. Okay. I need to make sure I word this correctly. So, uh, each part of the red team had different entry points of the farm buildings, and sort of converge in one spot, or is it uh, what because then I assume there has to be some lookouts of some sort. And again, if I'm going, I don't want to go too much into that, but so okay, so then they have, yeah. So then, okay, so everyone goes in. Do you have earpieces or phones? Do y'all, or did everyone leave their phones behind and you have walkie-talkies?
So the team leads had walkie-talkies and earpieces, so they were able to communicate with each other.
Uh-huh.
We didn't know the plan, so we were just following where we were told to go. But apparently, yes, there were multiple points where different people were going to try to breach to get in to get the dogs on the three main buildings. So there's
Okay.
three big barns, two research facilities, and then a nursery as well.
Whoa, shit. Okay. And so, um, were the dogs kept in all these different areas?
Yeah,
Fuck.
and you can hear them from the road, and the closer you get to the barns, the more distinct that they are.
And they're beagles, and beagles have a very distinct.
They're docile, they're loving, they're forgiving. If you smack them, they're still gonna love you and probably forget about it, which is why they're using testing. When they're shoving the tubes down their throat, they just kind of like hover, but they don't move. When they're performing surgery on anesthesia, they'll whelp, but they don't really do anything. They cut out their vocal cords because the only thing that they can do is howl and bark. So when they don't have a voice like they used to, they're less likely to be heard. And that's what happens to a lot of the dogs without anesthesia at Ridglan Farms, which I don't find humane. I don't find legal.
Holy
I don't find lawful. I don't find ethical, which is exactly why I did what I did.
Yeah, holy fuck. Uh, so what are they fucking testing for? What's their end game? What's their like, I don't know, like what's their way to make it a profitable business? And I use that term loosely, but you know what I. Yeah, I mean that's the only way I can describe it.
And yeah, it's very unfortunate, but animal exploitation, especially vivisection, is a very profitable business because these dogs apparently can be 2,000 plus dollars a piece, and they're mostly sold to universities for medical research. So they'll intentionally break the dog in some way, shape, or form, once again without anesthesia, so that medical students can practice surgery on them. But what they're testing for at the Ridglan Farms facility specifically is rabies vaccine and COVID vaccine. So these dogs are enduring, we don't know exactly what, but with rabies, they inject them with rabies and watch them go insane to see if there's a new something that they're learning about it. But in reality, we've had a great rabies vaccine for so many years, we don't need this anymore. And the COVID vaccine, I don't want to get into too much, but I feel
Uh,
like with everything that I've heard, it kind of needs to stop and go over to a more ethical model, maybe even a computer model like AI, because that's been proven to work better than any animal testing.
Holy shit. Okay, so they're fucking injecting these beagles with uh, rabies, and they're injecting it with fucking COVID, and then watching what they do, watching how they uh, watching how they this is fucked up. Like, so like watching how they are until they die, basically.
Essentially, from my knowledge, it is a research facility that's federally funded, so there's only so much that goes out about it. But that would be my best guess.
Who's funding it?
Fauci.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. If Fauci wasn't on everyone's shit list already enough, I mean, that's. Is this like what? Go ahead.
Ridglan Farms is the second largest beagle breeder in the United States. Myobars MBR over in New York is the largest. They have 20,000 dogs there, so 10 times the amount of Ridglan. There are these facilities all over. Not all of them are Fauci funded, but a lot of them are. There's so many, even in my backyard of Illinois.
And so then, you said then some of these these dogs are bred and then shipped off to universities. So is this like for people, medical students that are going into like the human medical field and not the animal medical field, or is this both fields that they're practicing on? Practicing is a fucked up way to say it too, like because so I mean, so is that what's happening with that?
So essentially, yes. I know more of the human side of it because they some of the experiments at the schools I heard of were just outrageous, but they may be doing it with veterinarians too, for vets, essentially. I'm not entirely sure, but essentially what happens is Ridglan Farms prides themselves on having these purebred biolab beagles. So they're the best for your experimentation. So they don't really care what happens after, and our research, we haven't dug that far yet, / I haven't seen or heard of it.
And purebred is a fancy way of saying very, very inbred.
And very expensive.
And very expensive. And they're going to already have so many more medical issues with them just from being so inbred and then so frequently. I mean, I'm sure that's fucking hard on all those dogs. And then energetically, I can assume that gets passed down through their DNA, generation through generation through generation. It does with. Go ahead.
I want to piggyback off that because,
Sure.
Trauma does get passed on. Epigenetics doesn't just happen in humans, it happens in all animals. But two, like I said before, the barking we heard outside the sheds, those sheds are metal, essentially metal cages with no windows. The only windows have fans in them. So you have 2,000 dogs inside barking, and it echoes and echoes and echoes. Like, that's one of the reasons I had trouble sleeping at night, because I kept hearing the sounds. But then you walk in and you just see, you can feel how cold it is, but you see how it's not a loving place. But then the smell hits you. Because we went on a Saturday, and I don't know the last time that anybody was in there, but there was piles of dog poo underneath all of those cages, and not just like one or two, like multiple. But apparently what they do is the beagles aren't potty trained, so they just poop through the cages, and then because they're on wire their entire lives, they get cuts and scrapes inside their paws, and then the feces gets in there in the urine, so it gets infected. There's a big smell, and animals have so much stronger senses than we do. So imagine going through all of that pain, smelling literal shit and ammonia from urine in the only place that you have home, listening to all of your friends and your family cry as best as they can, anyone's gonna go insane.
Yeah, absolutely. Holy fuck. And did they have like the kennel nose, like where it's like from trying to like, like get out? I've seen that on some dogs, like where like the front of their nose is all cut up and shit. Was that? Did you see that at all?
I did not see that, no.
Okay. So, fuck. And so there was thousands of, over 1,000 dogs in there, you said?
So the facility has over, well, just about 2,000. I think they were just under last time that I heard. The part of the building where I was at was a section that was cut off. So by the time that I got in there, I rescued the last beagle from the second row. So I only saw him, and then I
Yeah.
heard the other beagles behind in the third row, and then I heard everyone else on the other side because there was a wall splitting.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
these buildings are long. Like the entire property is about 2 football fields. So
Holy
this is
shit.
not a small place at all. This is huge.
And so then these dogs are not getting out and moving around. They're just in the cage forever.
The only
Jesus
time they
Christ.
see sunlight or go outside is when they're going from the nursery into the the shed that they're going to spend the rest of their life until they go, either they get sold somewhere and they get their first car ride, or they go into the research facilities just up the road. So that's the only time they go outside. There's no enrichment, there's no anything. They have numbers tattooed on the inside of their ears. They don't even get names.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we had a whistleblower that went in and worked for them, and one of the interviews with one of the people from Ridglan, and just for the record, the people that own Ridglan Farms, this breeding facility I'm talking about, are all veterinarians. So they ought to know better. But the
The
interview
should.
from one of them, um, our whistleblower was asked, how would you feel about walking into work and seeing a pile of dead dogs? How would that affect you? And it's like, how is that even a thing? A pile of dead dogs. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's not something that I ever thought I would hear in my life. A phrase like that. And that's just something that could be Tuesday for them.
Hmm.
And so that person who was the whistleblower, I mean, that had to have fucking. I mean, I'm happy someone did it, but I mean, that had to have fucking taken a toll on them as well. Like, that just. I mean, like, what you saw, like, what no one else in the fucking world is seeing. Like, I mean, what you saw had to have been just unimaginable. Like, I couldn't.
It's intense for sure, but
Yeah.
the smell is something I can't unsmell. That comes to me every so often,
And
especially when I have to clean my girl's litter. It's almost kind of like a flashback. And it wouldn't have to be like that if these places wouldn't exist. But the only reason they exist is because they're funded by our government for whatever reason. So I feel like I'll sleep so much better at night once these places are no longer in existence. But
yeah,
yeah, the amount
um,
of trauma Scotty, our whistleblower, went through, we're all
yeah,
so grateful for him. but he's the reason that there's 308 counts of felony criminal animal abuse against Ridglan. 308. So we are, I freaking love Scotty. He is one of the best things that could ever happen to Beagles, and I feel like he has a lot of support and he's doing as well as he can be, which is really good.
Are you in contact with the rest of the team, or is that something else that's like can't be talked about because of like ongoing investigations and stuff?
I don't have any restrictions, so there are
Okay.
some people who do have restrictions. They can't talk to other people, but I haven't even formally officially been charged. There's
Okay.
only been a deferral to say, hey, you should charge Amanda with burglary and party to a crime, like referred charges. That's what most of us got. There's only 4 people that are being formally charged as of now. Out of, I think there was 27 of us arrested, and then 50 or 60 that were cited altogether.
So, okay, so was it just like unlatching, like going down the rows and unlatching, or did you have like people in there, or is this something else that like is part of don't ask those questions?
No, so this was good, and this I'm gonna tell just a little bit of backstory because it's kind of sad, but it is what it is. So essentially, these dogs, the only kind of human interaction that they actually have are people who want to do cruel and unnecessary things to them. So sometimes
Sure.
they can get a little scared when a human comes by. And we were in white biosuits, we had on gloves, and we had on booties so that we didn't contaminate anything. No, outside it was rain and hailing, so the only thing I can guarantee is that my germs stayed on me and they didn't get into the facility or onto Darling. Um, but with that being said, we were told if there's a beagle there, because they were about 2 to 3 in a cage, um, if there's a beagle there that's not being cooperative, that's being too scared, it's our job to save as many as we can. So go to someone who is willing to help. So by the time I got in, like I said, the first row was empty. I looked down the second row, and then the power went out for a brief second. I was like, oh, snap. Did they just cut the power on us? How are we going to be able to get the dogs out or see to get the dogs out? But then it came back, so I think it was just from the storm because it was crazy weather that day. Essentially there's latches on each of the cages, but mine was already open. So the beagle that I liberated was one of those beagles that were left behind by somebody else who wasn't coming. And
Okay.
because we were the only people there, there wasn't people in and out. Because when those cages are open, you can't really walk by. You have to close the cage. So if there was ever some kind of emergency, I don't know what would happen. They would just let all those dogs pass away in a fire, which is terrible. But
Yeah.
yeah, the cage was already open. I just went inside, rubbed my hands on Darling's little butt, threw my towel over him, picked him up, and we walked right out the same way that we came.
And okay, and so you walk out of there with Darlene, and what happens when you walk out? Like, how far do you have to go to get to the safe area, and then were you stopped somewhere in between that time?
So at that point, there really wasn't too big of a safe area because we called the cops on ourselves and they had finally gotten there.
Okay, you
So
called the cops
I
on
walked
yourselves.
out. Yeah, it was an open
Oh,
rescue, and yeah, we didn't want to be like hiding. Plus, the best way to get the beagles never to be in that position again is to get the laws to be changed. And in order to get the laws changed, you have to get arrested so you can go to trial. So that was the longer big plan after we rescued the dogs.
smart.
But we're led by a lawyer.
Okay, yeah.
Um, So, yeah,
Holy
I walk
shit.
outside. At this point, it's raining, it's hailing, there's lightning, ground is shaking, there's police everywhere. There's a bunch of people ahead of me, but I lost my entire team. I pretty much am alone. There's like nobody around me, and I'm like, my legs are starting to feel like lead. Like I said, there's a big incline or decline as we were going down. It was really steep. So in my head, I'm thinking, crap, I have this beagle who I haven't named Darling yet. I still have these like booties on my feet. So my feet are wrapped in plastic, which is on the wetness and the little hail balls. I'm not walking on a street. I'm walking in like gravel and then in mud up a very, very steep hill, not once but twice, and then through a manure field. So it was all intense. And then you have commotion everywhere. And I heard somebody say, "Hey, stop with that dog." And I was like, if they're talking to me, they're gonna come over and talk to me. I gotta go. But
Yeah.
essentially, this is where I feel like my mom, right? I'm walking with Darling uphill, in the rain, in the hail, through all of the elements. I don't know how like it happened, but I see all of the vans, the rescue vans who are waiting for these beagles, and I'm like, I just have to keep going. There's like nobody else around. I don't know what's happening, but I see the driver that I came with, and I'm like, yes, I know that this is going to be okay. So I try to get Darling up the back of the van because they're like really, really big, but my booty slips on the water inside, and then it slips on the wetness outside. So somebody has to push my butt, but I still can't get Darling. I'm trying to put Darling back into a cage. He doesn't want to go, and I'm like, holy crud, this is not okay. So somebody else puts him in there. And then I thought that was going to be it. But then I start walking and I see this female officer and she is walking up towards the van. She pushes me out of the way. It's like, oh my God, I got run over. They ran over my toe. And I'm like, you walked into the dang thing. And then once again, I didn't realize what I was witnessing, but she goes to the back of the van and she takes one of the beagles out. She freaks out a little bit. Like this went viral on the internet. Now, no hard feelings to her. I have no idea what it's to be like in her position. They were not, I hate to say prepared, but they didn't know what was happening, just like we didn't know what was happening. So stakes were high. But
Yeah.
she does what she does. And then, yeah, she takes the beagle out. And I'm walking and I see this and I'm like, holy cow, there's a group of people there. And then they're trying to put the cage into the back of the squad car and it's not going to fit. And then they open the cage and you see the beagle gripping on the ground for her life, trying to stay. And they take the beagle out, put her in the back of the car, and they take her back to Ridglan. They took her and 7 others back to Ridglan. Because essentially what happened, when I was walking up the hill with Darling, we see this truck spinning out, almost hitting people. That was one of the relatives of somebody that owns Ridglan. He was doing reckless driving and he's getting charges deferred to him too. But that probably means that it's not going to happen. It is what it is. No idea what was going through his mind, but before he was doing the reckless driving, he went to one of the rescue vans and slashed 3 tires. So, one of the vans that we had, those puppies were the ones that got confiscated. That
Holy
was
shit.
really hard. But what we did, and once again, I didn't know what I was witnessing when I was witnessing it, but there was a guy with a Tesla who was doing some press film work. We were able to take 2 of the puppies from the van with the slashed tires and put them into his Tesla, and they rode in the front to freedom.
Oh, okay. So two got
So,
free.
yeah, we were able to liberate 23 beagles that day,
Oh
and
shit.
then
Oh,
the Ridglan 8 got sent back to Ridglan Farms, and we're unsure what their fate was, if they're even still alive.
so okay, so there were 23, so there were 31 total that were taken out, and then Yeah, because if they're going back, they've been compromised, and so, Jesus, fuck, shit. And so, okay, so were there a lot of police there then, that were showing up, and and then you said there was someone that was a relative of a Ridgeland person. How did they get smartened up to that? Did like security? Did someone that worked there call and say, "Hey, can someone go check on this?"
So it was an open rescue. We had it planned. We announced the date, but like I said, it was a day early. So I feel like they were maybe being prepared, having somebody there, but I'm not sure what their security is like on the weekends. This could have just
Yeah.
been one person. When I was looking at the drone footage, it looks like that truck, that guy that I was talking about, he was already there. Because when we entered onto Ridgeland past the fence, there was somebody already there. So there might have
Oh.
been two people there. Yeah, Wayne had tried to give them paperwork on more than one occasion, and even that day as well. But the police didn't want to hear it. The people at the farm didn't want to hear it. The courts didn't want to hear it. We got a special prosecutor appointed who never even walked onto Ridglan Farms. I've had more experience there than that guy, and he's a special prosecutor. So we've tried to give him the paperwork. We tried to do it the right way. So I don't know. I don't think they had actually like planned for what happened to happen, but there was already, I think, one to two, maybe more people there when we got there first.
Holy shit. Okay. And so, um, so the 31 dogs are out, 23 are gone, 8 going back. What happens then? Is that like? Is that when more police show up, or like? I mean, was this like they had to get backups coming out? Oh shit. Okay, and then were they just like you come here and
No,
everyone?
it would have been so much easier, Rusty. Oh my God. No,
Yeah.
they just wanted us to leave. They didn't even want to cite us at first. We had
Oh.
to, after we realized that we weren't getting any more dogs out because they were literally physically blocking and we weren't going to be violent to get past them. And quite frankly, we didn't have any more vehicles that could safely transport more dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, essentially everybody that wasn't involved really left, and then the people like myself volunteered to get arrested. There was 26 of us that walked back on the property. The only person that was arrested against their will was the driver of the van whose tires were slashed. Otherwise, there was 26 of us waiting outside once again in the rain and hail in very, very cold because this is just before a snowstorm, waiting to get arrested. So we were waiting in between the sheds, so you could still hear the dogs. We were right by where we had just been, so you could still hear them. The police waited us out there. They just wanted to. Eventually, they took our license and our information, and they were just going to cite us. They said, "You guys could go." And at one point, I was like, "Give me my ID back. Arrest me." And I knelt down on the ground. I put my hands behind my head. I'm like, "Take me in." Officers like, "Get up. You're embarrassing me." And I'm like, "Well, I got to be nonviolent, man. Come on." But
Yeah.
yeah, I was one of the first people to get arrested. I believe I got arrested by Madison police or county. I'm not sure. I don't think there was a Madison County. But yeah, there was a couple of different towns, and I believe the sheriff might have come, but don't quote me on that. Um, but yeah, ultimately, it was a big old poop show. Uh, we walked in, and it was raining and hailing, or I'm sorry, we were driven in, and then by the time that I got out of jail, there was already an inch or two of snow on the ground. And then
Whoa.
the next day, the day the rescue was supposed to happen, there was 6 inches of snow on the ground. So if we would have waited, we would have never liberated those 23 beagle babies.
Whoa. Okay. So then were you brought in and processed and let out, or were you in there for... Okay. And so first time being in a jail,
Oh,
or plead the fifth? Okay.
yeah, apparently I forgot I was arrested for shoplifting when I was like 20, 21, something like that. It was
Yeah.
so long ago I forgot about it. But yeah, no, this was my second arrest. That
Yeah.
one I don't remember. It's not on my record or anything. I did a not guilty and not guilty kind of in between thing. I don't know
Okay.
what's gonna happen with this one, but I feel like this is the first time that I've done something as controversial as this. I don't
Yeah.
see it as controversial, but I mean, obviously, there's some media that see it differently.
So then, uh, I mean, what what media or certain people or groups of people are giving you shit, like giving you and your group shit, like I mean, is it like major news outlets, and they're like, or, I mean, because I mean, I don't know, I can't figure out like who would be on the other side of that, where it would be um, protecting their assets, I guess, would be like, which is fucked up, calling dogs assets. Um, so I mean, like, was it like that? Yeah, like TV news networks that were labeling you as something not good, or what was going on with that?
So I feel like there's a few local news stations that had been cutting up some people's interviews, and then recently, because March 15, what I just talked about, was completely different than April 18.
Oh,
April 18 was a complete chemical warfare against us. So that one they're calling both of them a raid, but I don't see it as a raid. I don't really know the definition of a raid, so I guess I can't be certain completely, but from what I've seen about raids, I don't feel like that was that at all. I mean, I literally walked on. Everything else was done before me. I walked on the property, I walked in the barn, I liberated Darling, and I walked out. It's literally what happened. So I don't
yeah,
understand how it's a raid. Like, we didn't have weapons. We had equipment to make sure that we could get inside. There's a big difference. But yeah, you know how sometimes the media can take little clips of this and clips of that out of context. I feel
sure,
like it's more like that. And this last one has been getting a lot of worldwide news. Now, I haven't followed it all, but I've heard a lot of people that were there saying, yeah, I'm upset because this interview went like this, don't say this. And it's like, we can only control so much. At the end of the day, it's not a crime to save lives. Those beagles should not be there in the first place. And if people
I,
were actually upholding the law and doing what was lawful, not just legal, we wouldn't be in this position entirely. So why don't we just cut it where it needs to be cut so nobody's in this position? Because I feel guilty
yeah.
for leaving those beagles behind not once but twice, especially since like I've had that experience. So, I mean, yeah,
So
I'll end it there.
what happened on April 18th then? Or
Huh.
is this a whole different? I mean, this is a whole different can of worms here. You said,
So,
because I
March.
saw a clip that you had shown,
Mhm.
um, and that was the first I had heard of it. Because I'm not
Yeah.
always uh, paying attention to a lot of stuff, but I saw that. I was like, well, what the fuck is going on? And so then that was, I think, when I reached out to you, and so So was it, were you like in the red group again going in there to do the same? And then like, were the police there beforehand, before you walked on the property?
Hmm. Yeah, so essentially, last time there was about 500 people. This time there was over 2,100 that signed up. But
Holy shit.
we were supposed to have a conference on Friday for like training up in Wisconsin, but there was a tornado that decided to come through and flash flooding that happened everywhere, so we canceled the training. Essentially, we come to
Whoa.
find out days later that that training was when we originally supposed to go into Ridglan for the second rescue. But that night, well, like the week before, they had hired private security with firearms that were flashing their weapons to people that were passing by. There were
Whoa.
people that were, checking everything out. So essentially, what Ridgeland did to keep us out for the second rescue, because there were so many of us and this gained national news then, was they dug moats and put big old hay barrels around their entire perimeter. And then they filled the moats with manure. So the police were already there when we got there. When my team was walking up, I led a red team this time around. I was originally supposed to be in Costa Rica, so I wasn't even supposed to be a part of this. I was just supposed to help lead a team, and then I was supposed to kind of give them to somebody else, but make them so they're self-manageable. All of my
Yeah.
plans got woo-wooed and canceled, so I was able to actually go there and experience this. But yeah, as we were walking up, you heard the dogs, but you also heard people screaming. And I was not prepared for that. But it wasn't just the police that was there. These men or boys were in full riot gear. They looked like something out of SWAT. Some of them were state police, some of them were county. But I heard that they had people from 12 different cities come and help. They had tear gas waiting for us. They pepper sprayed us at point blank, and then they shot us with rubber bullets. But not just once, some people have multiple bullet wounds right next to each other. And one person got shot in the back 8 times. So that's what was waiting for us. But the worst part is
Whoa.
the tear gas. The wind was so bad that day. The tear gas was going back into the barns with the beagles. They didn't just tear gas us. They didn't just place chemical warfare on us. They did it to the beagles too. And we just talked about contamination. We don't know what's going to happen with the different kind of things that those beagles have already experienced. Because in the state of California, they have all of these wonderful laws to help out our human bodies. The cans of tear gas, we read them. There's all of those California state warnings, like this is going to cause cancer, reproductive harm, endocrine disruption. So if that's going to be doing it to us, there's some people that have migraines and headaches, sinus issues just from this. There was one person who we were able to breach the fence at one point, and he was trying to get through. The police knocked him to the ground, kicked him in the back, and then held him, his face, his open face, over tear gas. He laid unconscious there for over 6 minutes. Once again, I didn't know what I was witnessing when I was witnessing it, but I thought that poor man was dead. Luckily, he's okay and he's alive, able to tell the tale, but that's something that should not have happened in the first place. We didn't have any kind of weapons. We were nonviolent. All we wanted to do was go in there and save these criminally abused animals. That's it. And instead, that guy got arrested after he came to. But literally, we asked them for medical care. We asked them for some kind of update. They gave us nothing. They just ignored us and they stood over him so he wouldn't move and we couldn't see him.
Holy shit. Okay. So, and then there were no beagles that got out on the second one.
No.
and they got the secondhand.
Yep.
I'm just gonna rip those out. Secondhand. Chemical warfare, basically. Not doing anything, just being in there.
According to Sheriff Kelvin Bennett of the Dane County Sheriff's Department, he says that we were violent protesters and we had weapons. All of the weapons that he says that we did have, but they were not weapons. They were simply a vehicle to get through the fence, tools to get through the fence, to breach, so that we could walk in and save the beagles. That's it. Nobody used anything against anyone there. The only people that were using anything against anyone were the police that I saw.
Holy shit. What about the private security? What were they doing during
So apparently
this?
the private security wasn't there that day, but we had somebody on the team who worked for the private security company that was hired. And
Okay.
there were two security companies that were hired, actually. One was his, which were, you don't really carry a firearm. You're security, but you're not like police security. And then the other one, who was a little more flashy, was the kind of people you don't want to mess around with, that push the limit a little, I guess is the way to say it. But
Holy
I
shit.
don't believe that they were there. I believe that once everybody started showing up, because there were cars on either side of the road, you couldn't really get through because it's a little two-lane highway in the middle of, Farmville, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So the roads are pretty narrow.
Okay. So did were there arrests again on that one? On the second one? Did you get arrested again on that one?
I did not. I feel like I saw so many people go down. It was my plan to get arrested. I even told my team, like, hey, you guys are going to be responsible for getting yourselves back. I'm going home in a Dane County police car. I will see you when I'm out of jail.
Yeah.
But there was so many people that were going down, and like I said, I was leading a team. I felt like I still had to be there. So I stuck it out for the entire time. We were out there. I think we got there just after 9 o'clock, and we might have gotten back to our place around maybe 3-ish or so,
In,
maybe
in the
even later
in the afternoon or at night or in the
in the afternoon.
so this is all during the daytime.
Yes, it was a
Okay.
bright, sunny day.
Okay. Um, so and then you said that one got the media attention of
That one got it
uh,
the most, especially because of all the police brutality. Um, Once again, there are some people that think we were violent because there was so many of us and we were trying to get past the fence and go on to Ridglan's property. But I personally feel like they're forgetting the reason why that we were doing that in the first place. Because
yeah.
behind those doors, the unspeakable is happening, and it doesn't have to be. It's only happening for profit. So if it wasn't happening in the first place, we wouldn't have had to do that.
Yeah, because I swear I was just talking with someone about, because you were saying about, AI being able to uh, judge what's going to happen more than what they can do with the testing. And I would feel like I was just talking with someone about, um, what was it? I feel like it was. It wasn't maybe it was a squid or something that we had to dissect in maybe middle school. Did you have to do anything like that? Did
I was supposed to dissect a frog, But
Okay.
my grandfather died during that time, so his wake and funeral got me out of it, so I never had to.
Cool. Okay, that's good. Not that you know, grandfather is a great
It was
last
a very
gift
nice
for
gift. Yes.
yeah. Um, shit. Okay, that's yeah. Because then I started thinking about that, and then because I mean, like now there's no reason why you couldn't just AI that and have that be. I mean, even then, it seems so fucked up. And then, not to kind of change its topic, but I mean, like one of the things that got me was when I was 11, I went down to Puerto Vallarta and I saw bullfighting and like what you see like in fucking cartoons and stuff. You see the bull running after the red fucking cape, but then like you don't see the rest of that shit. Like what happens after that? And then they start fucking doing all the other stuff, and that was something that fucking stuck with me. And that's still like, however many years later, 30, 32 years later, I mean, I can still picture that. And then, like you were saying with the smell, and I was talking about that yesterday too, like how the smell's the thing that sticks with you. That's the scent that, like, you smell something and it brings you right back there all the time. And that's fucked up. Like everything about this is so fucked up, and I didn't know we were gonna get into this, and I wasn't really planning on it, but it sort of happened. But I'm proud of you for doing what you're doing. It's really admirable. Like, I'm not as vocal as you are with all of it, but I'm there backing what you do for sure. Like, I got you on this, and Cat with a K, I'm sure feels the same, and wherever Kitty may be, and I'm sure a bunch of other people, and those beagles, and I mean, I assume people even that. I mean, there's got to be some people that work there that don't. I can't imagine, like, even if they're working there, like, they're like, oh, it's a paycheck or something, but, like, you got to still think, like, this is still really fucked up, what's happening, like, and, yeah,
Have you ever heard of cognitive dissonance before?
yeah,
Yeah, so cognitive dissonance is the ability to like take yourself out of the situation, and it's like a form of self-protection. And we do it in a lot of things. One of our whistleblowers, the interview, I think it was the interview, but the guy from Ridglan was making the distinct differentiation between the dogs at Ridglan not being couch dogs. They're in cages. This is what they're bred for. This is their purpose. This is what they're essentially alive to do. Like, this is their job. They're different from the dogs that are on your couch that you're playing with. So he was able to do that, to separate the two, and he was teaching how to do that. So
teaching how to make people think that way.
Yeah, and that's one way to make the job, I guess, a little bit smoother, if you will. Because if you're not thinking about that dog, and this is like the same for slaughterhouse workers too, if you're not thinking about that animal as a unique individual and you're just thinking about them as a piece of property, like a can of beans or like a bag of potatoes or something like that, you're going to treat them differently. It is what it is. So you have to make that correlation, that connection. And in order to do that, you have to have cognitive dissonance. And in order to do that, you have to sever your emotions, be out of touch with them, and go more into, I feel like, the antisocial part of things, the more apathetic. So it
Yeah.
stinks that it can be done, but our brain is wonderful and it's going to protect us in whatever way it can. So the people at Ridglan, the other vivisection facilities, even the medical fields and the slaughterhouses, that's what they go through. So yeah, they just associate it with a check more than likely until they physically can't handle it anymore. But complex
Oh.
PTSD and trauma is one of the biggest reasons people quit jobs like that. And the reason why they're mostly in lower income places. It's one of the only places to work, and especially a place like Ridgeon. I can't confirm this, but they're federally funded. Each of those dogs, we offered them $1 million for all of their dogs. We would have forked over $1 million last Saturday, April 18th. They said no. They said no. So, just gonna throw that out
Whoa.
there.
Yeah. Holy shit. Um, that's fucking unreal. Um, okay. Well, uh,
I'm sorry this was so heavy, but thank
no,
you for
no,
getting the message out.
yeah, no, it's what came up in the conversation, and yeah, there's, yeah, I mean that's it's heavy, but like it should be, and if it's not, then I don't know, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Like maybe the cognitive dissonance, but so what uh, what now? Like what now that we're past April 18th? What's kind of next? Or is that something that is not talked about?
Well, I feel like I said, we're led by a lawyer, so the next step is always talked about, even before the last step has happened. So
Yep.
the next step is to definitely make sure that the Beagle story is out, because if they're not out of there by July 1, they're probably going to be euthanized. So we have to make sure that we're getting them out, that their message is out there too, because this is happening behind closed doors. Like Mount Horeb is a very cute town in Wisconsin, and that's the closest town to Ridglan Farms. A lot of people there just don't know what's going on there because it's in Nowhereville. People don't talk about it. So the more we talk about it, the more we can get it to stop. But the only reason it's there in the first place is because we're demanding it with our dollar. So a lot of the products that are being used, like Beagles sometimes are forced to wear gas masks where they're inhaling things like perfumes and hairsprays, and sometimes they're ingested with tubes down their throat. So laundry detergent goes there so they can see what happens to the insides. It's done on repeat until they vomit blood and eventually pass. It's very horrible, but I don't know why they need to do that to test out laundry detergents and dish soaps, but the stuff that we're buying at the store, the wonderfully marketed products that look all great, if they're tested on animals, like that's what Darling and his friends are over in Ridgeland doing in other places. So this call to action, the next step is to stop buying products with that. Because as soon as we stop giving them our money, it's going to end. There's no other way for it. So if it's not cruelty free, not tested on animals, or not vegan product, like it's been tested in a lab, probably a Fauci lab, and maybe even Ridglan, because Ridglan sells their dogs nationwide. So that product could have been tested on a Ridgeland dog, which makes me really sad. But it could also be
Yeah.
tested on monkeys and rats and cats and anyone else for that matter. But the biggest thing is to get the Beagles message out and to make sure that we're not putting them there in the first place. So checking all of your everything from house cleaners to soaps and shampoos, even some hair dyes and things like that, they will test in rabbit eyes. So making sure that the nail polish that we have on is cruelty free. Like that's part of the reason I went so basic, is because back in the day there wasn't as much stuff, but today in 2026 there's options all over the place. They're just not as prominent as the ones that we have known for the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, and the reason
Like
they got there.
Listerine, Colgate,
Yeah.
those test on animals.
Like the fumes and stuff from those are like.
All of it, from the actual products to the chemicals that they use inside. Colgate has fluoride. There's been some fluoride tests with that. So literally anything that you can think of, they've tested on an animal before.
Holy shit. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So
So yeah, just being aware of
don't yeah. Which also can be, a simple search on the internet of what is not. Is there like a place that, like a website?
do. There's this app. I don't remember what it's called, but if you look up cruelty free app, they
Yep.
have a list of everything. Essentially, I use Dr. Bronner's. They don't test on animals, and I use that for everything. My laundry soap, my dish soap, my hand soap. So like I said, I'm pretty basic, but it works very, very well. And they don't test on animals. Plus, the company is owned by the people. So I feel like it hits all of the check boxes on my list.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have to test like your stuff at all, like that's probably nothing that you should be putting anywhere near your fucking body. And your skin is the biggest fucking most take everything in part of your body.
It's absorbent, and it's our biggest organ. We often forget it's an organ, but yeah, our skin is literally alive, and it only takes 26 seconds to absorb something from your skin into your bloodstream. So all of those chemicals, if you're not wearing gloves while wearing them, that's not just going into your body, but it's affecting your brain, how you think, how you feel, how you process everything. So I feel like when I went more natural and got rid of the cruelty products, like my whole life transformed, and that was just because I wasn't allowing exploitation in various ways. So it's really fun how kind of deep it is.
Well, and then, I mean, with the energy of it too, I was going to ask too. Then, like, what was the energy when you walked into the place? When you walked into the farm, or when you walked into the building, like, what did the energy feel like? Was it like a huge wall of fucking shit, or was it like, did it just feel sad, or did it feel like some sort of need for help, or did it feel like hopelessness, or what did it feel like when you walked in there?
Shock. Like I almost backed out of the first rescue, so I decided that I was going to go there and experience what I experienced and not put the pressure on myself to rescue a beagle for the just in case whatever. But when I first walked in, even after like hearing and seeing inside the door, when I first walked in and I smelled that and the sounds just engulfed my being, I was like, oh shit, this is real. all of the videos that I had seen were real. And then I started thinking, like, how is this happening? How is this real? How is this okay? How is this funded? Why is this happening? It was more of just like an overall shock. And then, like, digesting it, I was like, okay, my eyes are starting to water. Why are my eyes watering? Because I can't breathe. Why can't I breathe? Look at the floor. There's piles of shit all over. Like, woo woo. It was intense, but
Oh.
shocking is the word I'd use.
Did you have like the eye contact with any of the beagles, like where they're looking at you and you feel it, or where you just in there you grabbed what you Darlene and got out?
Yeah, so I'm kind of grateful I didn't see any of the other beagles eye to eye because I went down the second row. I saw one cage that was still open and there was one beagle there, and that's where I went. There was the third row behind me, so I heard them, but I didn't
Yeah.
see them because of the way that the cages were.
Whoa. Okay. So, I mean, simple Google searches of how to find out about this, or how to, I mean, how to, how to help, how to spread word, how to do whatever.
Yeah, so if you go to savethedogs.io, you can read about the entire backstory, and that is run by Wayne Shung, who is in charge of everything. They have more calls to action on there, but yeah, essentially a simple Google search will tell you about Ridgeland. Another simple Google search will tell you where your local breeder is. It might take you down a rabbit hole, so just be aware of that. Set a timer if you don't want to dig all the way in one sitting. Um, but yeah, cruelty-free brands. Like I said, there's an app. I wish I could remember the name. It's on the tip of my tongue. But there's a lot of good resources out there, and especially after April 18 went as viral as it did, there's people talking about cruelty-free brands, what they've give up, what they've replaced it with. So there's so many resources out there now. I've seen a lot on TikTok. I'm not on Instagram anymore, but I've heard a lot of people finding good resources on there as well.
That's good. So you left Instagram?
No, I had a post go viral after the first Ridgeland rescue, and Meta kicked me off Facebook, not just my personal profile, but my business page as well, and then my fun page. And then they kicked me off of Instagram too. I've been able to get my Facebook back, but I still don't have Instagram. So
Holy. Okay.
that's why I went
What?
back to TikTok.
So what was the reasoning on that then? Did they give a reason, or was it
So
something?
essentially, they did not give a reason other than my account broke the rules, but they didn't give me what broke the rule. But beforehand, my account turned into a rage bait account, so there is probably something that I said in the past that somebody reported.
Okay. What you
Yeah,
gonna do?
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And so, I mean, yeah, it's, so, and if people want to get a hold of you, follow you, I mean, if they're taking down your pages, where are they going to find you?
Oh, that's a good question. I am launching a school community, so you can find me on school.com, and I will be having a community to help people take the best care of their bodies. It's called Self-Care Savages. So
Okay.
I will be off of social media. That's where you can find me. Self-Care Savages on the school platform.
Which you've already been working on. You've
I've been,
already, with that name.
yeah, I've started the back end stuff to it. I just haven't completely launched it yet. I've been getting some feedback from some people, and I will be launching it probably around the middle of May.
Cool. Okay. Well, yeah, I always enjoy talking with you, Amanda. It's been a while, and yeah, I thank you for doing this. And I said it was going to be a little shorter than it was, but yeah, we were kind of on a roll, so I was like, oh, we'll just keep it going. So, yeah, yeah, we'll have to do another one here at some point, and yeah, let me know about when the school gets launched and everything, and so you'll be off social media. That's going to be a nice one, probably.
I think so. I'm going through withdrawals a little bit, so I might change my mind, but I feel like my
Yeah.
handle will probably be Self-Care Savages something. And my little logo is like a black and white phoenix. So look for
Okay.
that.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, Amanda, thank you so much, and I guess that's it. So there's no outro music. Yeah, check me out, rustydiamond.net. I don't have too much more than that. That's easy. And this is the Public Access Podcast, and that's the show, man. Boom.